I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Scott, you're at ex-con. How are you an Avenger? That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
People still need help, Dad.
That's why we made this.
It's like a satellite for deep space, but quantum.
Wait a minute. You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now! Secret universe beneath ours.
What are you so afraid of?
There's something I never told you.
This place. It isn't what you think. I can get you home. And give you more time. If you help me. So, what's it gonna be? Ant-Man.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel finally dropped the full Ant-Man 3 Quantumania trailer. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs here, a whole bunch going on, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Remember, the movie is coming out in February. We won't have to wait that long for it to come out. The song that's actually playing on the trailer is Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, because they're going with the Wizard of Oz theme, and Kang is meant to be the Wizard of Oz, the person who's stuck in the land of Oz, which is the quantum realm in this case. The basic idea of the movie is that it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but with the quantum realm and Ant-Man characters. Just because most of the Ant-Man movies play on a lot of comedy, obviously very dramatic too, like Kang gets very serious during this, and I know lots of questions about what's going on with Bill Murray too. But the basic idea, I believe, is that Kang is stuck in the quantum realm, and they have a version of his Chronopolis from the comics, like his city that he uses to control his aspect of the Kang Multiverse War. Like he's trying to dominate the Kang Multiverse War 2.0 after the events of the Loki series. And this version of Kang is just using the quantum realm to do that. I'm sure that there are many other versions of Kang out there across the multiverse that are doing the same thing. They also clarify a little bit about how the quantum realm exists in relation to the rest of the MCU proper in the multiverse. The way Janet Van Dyne calls it a completely separate universe on a quantum scale, like underneath our own 616 Marvel universe, makes it sound like it's just one of the infinite number of different universes in the multiverse, instead of like a substrate that sort of reaches to all different universes in the multiverse. But the big reason why Kang would want to use the quantum realm is because he needs the quantum energy to power all of his technology, his control of time and space. Like all of his tech during the Loki series was based on quantum tech. That's why the energy looked like the same energy signature that the Avengers used when they were using quantum energy to travel through time and space for their big time heist mission. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer and working our way through shot by shot, I believe this is meant to take place in relatively real time with the other Marvel Phase 4, Marvel Phase 5 movies, but this is meant to be the official beginning of Marvel Phase 5. If there was any confusion, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is the official ending of Marvel Phase 4. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is kind of like a special case. That's sort of like a tail end of Marvel Phase 4. So this is taking place after the events of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, after the events of Thor Love and Thunder, for instance. Everything is meant to be going great in Scott Lang's life, like his family is doing amazing, he's getting all this credit for everything he did with the Avengers, he's even got a podcast about all of his Avengers stuff that we learned about during Ms. Marvel. Most of this trailer is actually the trailer they showed off at D23 with like a couple minor tweaks. There are a couple lines that I didn't see in this trailer that were in the D23 trailer. They pay off the joke with him in the Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins always finds out suddenly they're treating him like the employee of the century because of what he did during Avengers Endgame. He high-fives a little kid who's got an Ant-Man backpack, so he's making money off the merch. There's all these jokes about how the Avengers don't get paid. They kind of did that during Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they've addressed it in a couple other series, even during She-Hulk, the idea of merchandising all the Avengers stuff and all the bootleg Avengers merch. So some of them have managed to turn their superheroing into a profit without getting super shady about it. Love the old coffee shop owner that confuses it for Spider-Man. Thank you very much, Spider-Man. It also lets you know that this late in Marvel Phase 5, people still know all about Spider-Man even though they don't know that he's Peter Parker, because that's how the spell worked. Like, they just erased their knowledge that he was Peter Parker, not that Spider-Man existed entirely. So like, all the Avengers still remember fighting with Spider-Man during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. They just don't remember that it was Peter Parker that was doing it with them. They kind of addressed that during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where Doctor Strange references Spider-Man being this superhero also in New York City and the stuff that they'd done together, but didn't know that he was Peter Parker. This is where we get to more of the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids vibe, where the adult Cassie Lang now, because she's obviously grown older because of the 5-year time jump, they've recast Catherine Newton as the character. She's created a distress beacon that will help people contact them from the quantum realm who need help, but Kang winds up using this against them. Like, Janet Van Dyne gets really upset, like, wait a minute, you have a beacon going to the quantum realm? No, you gotta turn that off right now. We don't want to go down there again. Because you remember, Janet Van Dyne was stuck down there for over 20 years. She lived in the Quantum City. That's how she continued to survive. She met all those people. She worked with them. That's how the Bill Murray character knows her. And she probably knew all about what was going on with Kang. Like, we need to stay away from there as much as possible. There are a lot of dangerous people down there. So basically what Kang does is he uses his technology to pull them into the quantum realm. And the big idea is that he basically holds Cassie Lang captive and forces Scott Lang to steal something from him that he needs for his time travel platform to power all of his technology so that he can fulfill his plans to win the Kang Multiverse War. That's why at the end of the trailer, he tells him, do we have a deal, Ant-Man? Where he basically says, I'll get you Hope back, I'll get you more time. Because during a lot of the trailer footage and the other extra D23 footage that isn't in this trailer, he makes a lot of time travel references, just references to time in general. Like saying, we're both men who have lost a lot of time. You also notice that Kang is wearing his full-on Kang the Conqueror suit from the comics. Like, this is meant to be the full version of Kang the Conqueror. Now, because they said that we're going to see many versions of Kang in the future Marvel projects, this might not be the version of Kang that we see in Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. That could be a completely different one. But regardless of what happens to this version of Kang, like if he becomes a much bigger villain, I just think it's cool that they're actually giving us the real version of Kang the Conqueror, because the version during Loki was He Who Remains was sort of a combination of that and his Immortus version of the character, Kang at the end of his timeline. This is Kang in his prime. We get the Elton John Goodbye Yellow Brick Road song. Like I said, this is a big Wizard of Oz metaphor, with Kang being the wizard himself who is stuck in Oz because he needs the technology for Ant-Man to steal to power his time travel platform so that he can conquer all the multiverse. Really cool transition here with the Marvel Studios logo on top of the quantum realm as they're transitioning into it. And obviously this is meant to be a much fuller version of the quantum realm, much more detailed than we've ever seen before. We saw a version of it during Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we saw a version of the Quantum City in the background, but it was like really tiny, like zoom in and enhance and you see the Quantum City. This time it's up close, it looks more like an actual city. And when Janet Van Dyne calls it an entire universe just at the quantum level, that's why you see so many different types of alien-looking creatures there. Like, they're not all the same type of being. But you also remember, because it is the quantum realm, you could enter or exit at any point in time and space, like it's connected to all of time and space. Which is why it's so important for Kang, all the quantum energy powering his technology that helps him control all of time. All these other types of beings that you see them meet are just beings from other places inside this quantum universe, so to speak. They make it seem like a lot of them are refugees like Janet Van Dyne was, like she got stuck in the quantum realm here in this particular place, they're probably stuck there as well. So the big idea here is that Janet Van Dyne kind of takes the lead when they go down there because she lived there for over 20 years, and even though Hank Pym is a genius, they're meant to be the fish out of water this time. We see Kang powering up some of his time travel devices, and when I made a reference to Chronopolis, that's what it seems like this place is. Like, this is like a giant version of his smaller time travel platform that you see him on later. Like I said, using this to control all of time and space at a much, much larger level. You can let me know in the comments if you think that they're using this to set up a version of Kang for Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. Like, it could be the same Kang, just because this seems like it's so big. It would be weird if they killed off this version of Kang and that was the end of it. The way he comes off in the trailer, too, is that he's sort of benevolent, like he wants to help Scott Lang, but he's also being really evil at the same time. Like, yeah, I've stolen your daughter, I'm probably going to kill her unless you help me. but they want you to sympathize with him at least a little bit, like you understand why he's doing what he's doing. It's the same thing with the Thanos was right memes. Like, first he seems like this crazy villain, but then after Avengers Endgame, you get all these Thanos was right memes. Like, oh no, he actually had some good ideas there. It'll be the same thing after this comes out. People will be like, Kang was right. You may have seen all the Ant-Man jokes too, because he got super huge for his other movie with Michael B. Jordan, the Creed 3 movie, so he looks ripped now. R.I.P. Ant-Man, Kang is definitely going to spank him hard in this film. He didn't actually get super ripped for Ant-Man 3, like he's just in regular shape. He got super ripped for Creed 3. But I still like the metaphor, like Scott Lang has no chance against him. One of the other cool details that you notice here too, when you see all of his troops lined up, obviously this is very Attack of the Clones looking with all the clone troopers. They're all wearing the same looking suits that Kang has on, the same Kang the Conqueror type of suit. So I'm wondering if these are all just other versions of Kang that are working for him, and they're using a very Council of Kangs kind of twist. Like everybody you see walking around in the suits is just another Kang. Sort of like a Rick and Morty situation with the Citadel of Ricks, except make it Kang. This is just his regular time travel platform where he actually controls everything from. Surprisingly, his Kang the Conqueror suit in the MCU looks very similar to what a lot of the fan art looks like. This is just meant to be a regular bar populated by just other random creatures, beings that have come from other planets inside this quantum realm, where it seems like Janet Van Dyne goes to meet people that she knows and get more information, get more help. And now talking about Bill Murray, so a lot of people wondering what's going on with him because he looks human. Is he another actual human from Earth, or is he just humanoid looking? All I really know about his character is that I believe he's playing a version of Krylar, who's a villain from the comics, like he's secretly a villain. Bill Murray said that he's playing a very bad guy during the movie, and he is an alien, but in the comics he has green skin. The character actually debuted in the Incredible Hulk number 156, and it was inside the Microverse, which is the quantum realm. They couldn't use the name Microverse in the MCU because I believe that Hasbro owns the Micronauts, which owns the term Microverse. So they just had to change the name, and that's why it's called the quantum realm instead of the Microverse. That also kind of makes you think of the Rick and Morty Miniverse and Teenyverse. In the comics, Krylar was another evil scientist just creating really bad stuff. Even though Kang is meant to be the main villain of the film, there's also supposed to be a version of MODOK, and I think that Bill Murray might have something to do with that. Like, he might have turned Corey Stoll's Yellow Jacket into the version of MCU MODOK. That's the big rumor, is that like they show a version of MODOK in the D23 trailer. This is what he looks like, but this looks like a face mask, and underneath when it falls off, it might be Corey Stoll's face, or a version of it. Like the Darren Cross version of MODOK. So they might be trying to hijack Kang's technology. But I still think that Kang is meant to be the main villain. Like you see Ant-Man here surrounded by all of Kang's technology, and then you see him sending him to steal something from this other area here. We see a bunch of dangerous creatures inside the quantum realm. You see a really freaky scene of Ant-Man running towards something, but there's a bunch of other versions of Ant-Man. Like there's a giant man that just sort of unravels. There's another Ant-Man in front of him. This is probably just playing on the whole idea of the time travel technology, the metaphor with Kang the Conqueror. Like it's the same Ant-Man, but it's a bunch of different versions of him from across the timeline. We also see Cassie Lang in the purple Stinger suit. She's had a couple different versions of her character, like she's been Stature and been more of a version of Giant Woman, but in this version, her powers are a little bit closer to the Wasp's powers. She can basically do all the same things that Janet Van Dyne and Hope Van Dyne can do. And yes, I totally think that they're going to do a Young Avengers project and she'll be on it at some point. One of the lines of dialogue that they don't include in this that was in the D23 version of the trailer is he says, "Have I killed you?" because he knows who the Avengers are, but he's killed so many of them across the timeline, across different battles that he's had, that he forgets which is which. Like, are you one of the Avengers that I've killed before? Did we just have a battle a little while ago? I can't remember. There's been so many of them. I've killed you so many times. Just more time travel references. So like I said, I think some of this is meant to set up Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty in a big way, but I don't know if it'll be this version of Kang or another version. Hopefully it won't just be this version. He'll wind up getting away, or he'll wind up accomplishing his goal at the end of the film. We've also seen a version of Kang the Conqueror in the Loki Season 2 trailer. I've already done a much bigger video about that from D23 in that footage. So I'll link that at the end of this. I think that that's going to be a separate version of Kang because remember, infinite versions of Kang now released because of what happened at the end of Loki Season 1. This is coming out in February. Loki Season 2 won't come out till the spring or the summer, so that's why I say I think it might be separate versions of Kang the Conqueror. But I do think that there'll be some Easter eggs between the two of them. If you spotted any other big Easter eggs in the trailer footage that I didn't talk about in the video, or you have any big other questions about the movie, just post them in the comments below, and I'll add them in my future bonus videos. I'll start doing more Ant-Man 3 videos as we get closer to the movie coming out. We get more footage. There's a bunch of Black Panther Wakanda Forever footage that also just dropped. I'll do a video for that soon. In my new House of the Dragon Season 2 video we'll post next, you can click here for that. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for my Loki Season 2 trailer video with that other version of Kang. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.